As a developer, you're in the middle of all of it. You're the one that's responsible for hiring all of those people. And at the same time, you're responsible for your investors' money.
The important role of the developer, apart from making everything happen and hitting and complying with the bank, the GC, the people you're selling the condos to, and maintaining all those good relationships and having to deliver what you promise to everybody. And the only way you're able to do that is being on top of everyone. Because this is what tends to happen once you leave somebody do their own work, they start cutting corners. And that's what you're trying to avoid. Because when that starts happening, doesn't matter if it's from the consultants, from the GC, from the people you're selling to, you start to do this spiral effect of not delivering what you promised to one of those parties. You know what I mean?
Because as a developer, you're in the middle of all of it. You're the one that's responsible for hiring all of those people. And at the same time, you're responsible for your investors' money. And you have to be making good decisions, managing all of these different groups to deliver at the end of the day. And I think it's not out of malice or anything wrong with the different groups that, as you said, might cut corners, but it's really just about incentives, because their job in their role is to try to optimize and maximize the profit for their boss, right, for their company. Maybe in subcontractors, maybe the guy out there directing things is the guy that is going to earn the profit, right? And so he's, oh, it doesn't really matter if I don't finish this drywall exactly the way that I should. Let's just finish it. It doesn't really matter. We got to hit the schedule. We got to get on to our next job. And when you're in the ownership position, you have to tell them, hey, I need you to finish this thing correctly, because one of the buyers is going to come in and see that this is not done right, and then we're going to have to come back and fix it anyways. And I'm sure that it happens on every project.
Exactly, and everything comes back to us. They're not going to go to the GC, hey, GC, you did something wrong. No, they're going to say, developer, you sold me something and you didn't deliver it. And that's the thing that I believe that it's a challenge every day, because also remember, like, you got the subcontractors, right? Which they have like tier 1, tier 2 subcontractors as well.
So explain what the tier 1 and tier 2 subcontractors are.
So tier 1 and tier 2 subcontractors basically is when, first of all, let's map out the world of a GC, right? In order for it to be understandable. The world of a GC is a general contractor where the developer hires that general contractor, which is the one responsible of building all the building, all the structure, all the drywall, all the interiors. And then the GC subcontracts trades, specific trades to do specific jobs, but then subcontractors also subcontract other trades under them.
Especially on bigger projects.
Especially on bigger projects like this one, because they need more manpower, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why you call tier 1 if it's the first.
The one that's closest to
closest
the GC.
To, exactly. And then tier 2, and it goes like that based on how the subcontracting way goes.
And you probably have, as you have more steps removed from you as the owner, you have less and less input and control over that person at a tier 2 or even a tier 3 sub. They don't know who you are.
Correct, and that's the part that I'm telling you about. Sometimes we go to do the inspections, right, on the building. Often we go there and do some walkthroughs to see that everything is going as planned or as designed, and we see subcontractors or tier 1 or tier 2 doing things that we don't like. And it's not that I can call their attention, but then when we go to the GC and call their attention, the GC doesn't even know that's happening. And then the GC goes to the subcontractor, which hired that tier 1 or tier 2 guy, and they're like, they didn't even know as well. And you know, and And it goes on to all this spiral, you know
And
what I
then
mean?
you add to the fact that you've got millions of square feet that you're trying to manage and oversee, hundreds of people that are there every single day. And how do you keep track of all of those different things? And from my position as someone that's actually going through the general contractor agreement, the developer and the general contractor, and we're looking at things like who is the person that's responsible for actually making a decision? When you're on site, who has the authority to say what's right and what's wrong? Can you ask for changes when you're on site in person, just in the moment, if it's not on the plans, right? There are all these different things that go into, at the contracting level, before you even get started, have you considered all of these different outcomes? And I think that's part of the reason it's difficult for a lot of people to wrap their head around development in general is you've got all of these things that you have to plan for at the very beginning. You've got these relationships that you have to work out. And then you've got these things that you don't even know are going to happen, like multiple tiers of subcontractors that you have to be prepared and able to manage.